What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the F125 My Team Career Mode video. Today, round 9, if you're looking for the race start, it's at 4 minutes 22 seconds. But first, we're going to go into qualifying, show you a couple of laps around the Spanish GP circuit. Now, you might see it in a second, but Q1, it actually started raining very soon into the start of Q1, which, you know, soft tyres are always going to be faster unless it's in wet conditions. So we're going to try and get out there early into turn 1. I'm still learning. Spain is not my best track by far, and it has just started raining. You can see the droplets falling from the sky. But we're going to make the most of it here because everyone behind us is going to have a potentially slower lap than ourselves. But you can already see how quickly the grip is just falling away from us here. But starting to get into sector 2 now, and you'll potentially see through some of the faster corners coming up and potentially through this one as well how little grip we have. We'd completely missed the apex, but moving up to what would normally be the second DRS zone, just understeer City through that fast right-hander, and yeah, even having to change the brake bias a little bit just to make sure that the car doesn't completely oversteer under brakes. But hitting apexes is hard. Traction is very tricky, as you can see all through these corners here. Trying to get from slow speed to build the pace back up again, it's a bit tough, to be honest, especially with a dry setup. But we're going to see what we get out of this lap. DRS has just been disabled, so we got the most out of the DRS there, with the exception of this run up to the line. That puts us P9 for now, 3.8 seconds off the pace, so clearly someone got out there very, very early on indeed. But through turn 1, you can just see how little grip there is now as Sonoda was coming out of the pit lane there. But through this corner especially, I left this in because you can just see I'm not at full throttle at all, but the car just lets go even with really low revs. So there's just zero grip at this point for the soft tyres. So that did get us through to Q2. I'm just showing this lap because, as you can see in Q2, the rain has well and truly come. It actually went to full wet as well as a recommendation. I believe this is my second Inters run now, pretty much back to back with my first. So we'll see how it goes here. Obviously braking a little bit earlier, taking it a little bit more cautiously. Again, I've got a dry setup on, but we're making time. We're finding the time through the first couple of corners, but with the long prolonged corners, it's very tricky to get the power down fully and just keeping it within track limits there. But we're actually doing not too badly, still kind of on target with our own time here in P11 currently, but we're surely not going to see quicker times than these because it's only getting wetter on the track. We found a couple of tenths actually towards the end of sector 1 and the start of sector 2, but here come the sort of trickier sections for wet conditions because, yeah, there's just so much less grip to try and navigate through some of these faster corners. But we really gravitated towards that inside curve there, and it actually kind of helped us reduce the speed a little bit as well as we were heading through the fast right-hander. But now through some of the slower parts of the circuit here, we're actually just using, I guess, experience from the first lap and trying to feel the grip out a little bit more, and we're finding time hand over fist on this second Inters lap, and it looks like we're going to knock off around a second here, and it is going to be about 1.3 seconds knocked off our time, but it's still nowhere near any of those around us. But let's hop into the race, and I'm going to quickly go through the strategy as well. So it was saying soft medium. I thought maybe medium soft. I do like to get the harder compounds out of the way first, but with the place that I'm on in the grid, I think I'm going to go with the softs and then go to the mediums. I've just cut out the formation lap for you, but all the lights are on. Now they're out as we go racing here in Spain. Hamilton initially got an absolutely lightning fast reaction time. We are surrounded by Ferraris. There's 3 wide up ahead, and we're trying to just find a little place to safely glide through these first couple of corners. Sainz coming across onto the racing line again. We've got Leclerc to our right-hand side here, but he's got that Ferrari pace and the inside line, which is the racing line, and he gets that position. But we get some good traction around the outside and a bit of a slingshot to the inside of the Ferrari man there. We're going to tuck in behind Sainz for now. But that was, I want to say, a bit of an optimistic race start, but also, yeah, just kind of differing lines giving you advantages in different parts of the track. But yeah, I don't think we're going to kind of scream about that one too much, but I was pretty happy with that start to come away unscathed as well through turn 1, 2 and 3. Sainz is looking a little bit vulnerable almost. There are a mix of cars around, as you always get with rainy conditions in qualifying, but we're going to go to the outside of Hadjar. Again, this is where our setup is really going to help us here, but again, I'm still not that comfortable with this track at the moment. I enjoy it as a track, I'm struggling to fully find my ideal line. This corner I think is pretty clear, tight to the apex, let the car run out wide and then braking around 60 meters or so, dipping it down into third before unleashing the throttle quite early actually as well. I was playing with it in practice and through qualifying a little bit, just when I can apply the throttle, and you'll see that kind of change a little bit throughout the race. But so far, lap 2, we're up to P9, so we're pretty comfortable there, but jumping ahead to lap 4 because these cars up ahead are battling like it's the last lap. You've got, I think, the Williams of Albon there and the Kick-Sauber of Hulkenberg all the way up in the lofty heights of P6 right now. Hamilton waiting for his moment, but there's just no way for us to make any kind of positions here. I'm kind of hoping that we can get past Hamilton while he's waiting in the queue to jump Hulkenberg, but yeah, there's just not too much we can do with the dirty air that we're having to try and fight against, and our soft tyres that are going to be going off probably sooner than that Ferrari ahead of us. So we've got to make moves, we've got to make them count, but it's kind of tricky, to be honest, because as I'm sure you've heard a million times, dirty air is a big factor, but there's not that much slipstream. DRS is very helpful though, as it's helping out Hamilton and the Ferrari ahead get past Alex Albon into P7. It looks like they're going to be side by side here, so maybe this is where we can make some sort of move as Hamilton falls back in line for now, but he's surely going to lose a bit of momentum through to the next corner as we go up the inside and try and keep it tight as we can to the inside, give him room on the outside, but he gives the position up for us so we can get on with the rest of our race. Now that kind of makes me nervous, to be honest, because we've got decent straight line speed, but with that Ferrari behind us on their soft tyres as our tyres are going to be going off soon, I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to be on his shopping list this week. But we do have Albon ahead, who's giving us DRS. I don't think Albon's going to be getting DRS from Hulkenberg, which is a bit of a nice thing for us, because maybe we can get ahead of Albon, and Albon's having tons of oversteer through that corner. Just kind of shows maybe there's something not quite right with the Williams in this final sector, or maybe Albon's just having a bit of a break from his normal rhythm when he's going around this circuit. But it's an easy pass for us with DRS as Albon very aggressively defending against Hamilton there in the Ferrari, and now we can use the clean air to our advantage, pull away from the Williams and the Ferrari, who are still side by side as well, I think, in turn 1 and 2, and move up towards the back of Nico Hulkenberg here for P6. And I have to say, I absolutely love that we're getting mixed grids. When there's rain in qualifying, or it's mixed conditions during a session, I love it. Not for my own driving or anything like that, but because it makes the race so much more exciting. If you have a massive mixed up grid, you've got cars pulling away, like you've got the Red Bulls, the McLaren, and George Russell, I think it is. Yeah, in P5. And those guys, will pull away. But then you're going to have bottlenecks in the field like Hulkenberg and Albon. Maybe not Albon as much, but definitely Hulkenberg in the Kick-Sauber. I definitely think it's still the slowest car, if not one of the slowest cars in this career. But it makes the race more interesting. If it's just basically the McLarens, then Verstappen, then like the Ferraris and the Mercedes, then it's not quite as fast. We're going to go to the outside of Hulkenberg down the straight, so pretty open and shut move for us, really. But yeah, I think if you've got all the faster cars out front, it's just, everyone just stays in the same place they qualified in and that's about it, unless there's a massive difference in strategies throughout the grid. But yeah, we got the move done on Hulkenberg. Lap 10 of 23. We're going to be coming up to our pit stop window very shortly, and yeah, it was crucial that we got that move done before the pit stops. Just, I want some clean air when we come out of the pits, purely because we're going on mediums, and yes, they'll do the distance, but around Spain you really do get very large amounts of degradation and tyre wear on the left side of the car. I don't know if that's just me. I don't think it is, because you've got corners like this, you've got the final two corners, you've got the corner in the middle of Sector 2, the fast right-hander before the DRS straight, and even in Sector 1, the left-handers, the very long left-hander, Turn 3, and Turn 4 as well. So there's a lot of lefts, as you're going to have in the, you know, a clockwise circuit. But still, the tyre wear is insane because of the speed that you carry through those corners. And yeah, through these turns I was pushing, but through the, you know, the right-handers, sorry, where the weight is all on the left-hand side of the car, I was, yeah, being a little bit more cautious. And you'll see that when we come out of the pits now, as everyone up ahead seems like they are pitting as well. You've got Russell, Piastri, ourselves, Hulkenberg, and who's that who's just gone past? A couple of Ferraris, I think, or one Ferrari and maybe Sainz, potentially. But we should come out in a pretty decent position still, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any traffic. A pretty decent stop from the team, but now it's time to get back up to speed on these mediums, and I'm going to try and protect them a little bit in the opening laps of this stint, just to hopefully have them pay dividends later in the race, because I don't want to burn through them like no one's business and then just fall back through the field in the last 5 laps. But we've now got Tsunoda ahead of us. He's 3 seconds. He's on the hards, and he actually pitted later than us, but went onto hard tyres. So I'm not really sure what Tsunoda's strategy was here, but it's kind of working out. And although we're catching him at the moment, we are potentially not going to be catching him later on when his tyres are stronger relative to ours. On top of all that, we've actually got Nico Hulkenberg, who is catching us. You might have seen it at the bottom with the subtitles from Mark, but he's catching us by half a second a lap. That just kind of shows how much we are trying to save through some of these longer corners here, although I might be starting to push from the next lap onwards. I wanted to try and get the mediums up to speed, and then try not to do anything like that, which isn't going to help our cause. But it looks like we're reeling in Tsunoda a little bit and pushing Hulkenberg away, although Hamilton has just passed Hulkenberg. So Hamilton could be coming back at us later in this race. We've got 6-ish laps left. Maths is hard, but yeah, you can see we're pushing. Green Sector 1, purely from being a bit more aggressive on the throttle through Turn 3, and then possibly through some of these other right-hand corners as well. We're really trying to get everything out of this car right now, just to get onto the back of Tsunoda. If we can get to the back of Tsunoda with DRS, we should be able to make a pass. We'd have to play that strategically based on last lap and everything like that, just so that Tsunoda doesn't just get us straight away on the next lap, if that makes sense. But here we go. Lap 16 of 23. Almost within a second of the DRS, not within a second of Tsunoda. And Hamilton is 3.8 behind us. So moving on, lap 21 of 23. Russell now has been overtaken by Tsunoda, just to kind of also illustrate that it's a medium versus hard thing. So hards might not actually be the worst shout in the world for this track if you've not played it yet, or even if you're going to play it at any point in the future. Tsunoda is gapping us at this point. Our only hope is to potentially catch Russell, but we've got 2 laps and we need a second a lap. But you can see, even with us pushing, we can see them now but we're not really going anywhere. We're stalling out almost in this position of P6. Hamilton is catching. He's 2.4 behind us now. We gain on him in some parts of the circuit, but then he comes right back at us in others. So he is definitely catching us. Now we're on lap 22 and Hamilton is 2 seconds back. Russell still there, about 2.1 seconds back, but he's got the DRS on Tsunoda. So I think if Russell didn't have the DRS on Yuki, we would have DRS on Russell and be able to fight for a P5 here. But as it stands right now, we just can't push as hard as we want to.
Okay, final lap.
It's the final lap now. Hamilton 1.9 behind, Russell 2.5 ahead and climbing. Now the Ferraris have done pretty well to kind of climb back up to this position, considering they were just ahead of us and just behind us on the starting grid. But we've done pretty well, I think, to get past them early on and give ourselves a bit of a comfortable margin for the rest of the race. But you can see just how much we're pushing even now. Brakes and tyres constantly screaming at us to kind of slow down and hold our horses a little bit. But there's two prancing horses just behind us who want this position as the back end stepping out under traction through that corner. How are we going to handle this longer right-hander? It's pretty good, actually. We did lift off, but a couple corners left to go. Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. The two McLarens, as we have a bit of a scary moment under traction there. The two McLarens coming in P2 and P3, followed by Yuki Tsunoda, then George Russell, then ourselves in P6, unless there's a mistake in this final corner. Hamilton didn't really have enough laps left, but we come home for a couple of points and P6.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Mark, you could have... That's exciting, isn't it? We got P6. Is that not exciting? And driver of the day, there you go. People believe, Mark. Why won't you believe?
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And they led every single lap of the race. It was a light to flag victory, and that is total dominance.
Yeah, Verstappen absolutely dominated that race, but the McLaren's hot on his heels, and we're not too far away in P6.
From lights out to the checkered flag, this is what they're racing for. It's points and a trip to the podium. One of the all-time greats celebrates yet again. It's another podium, it's another top step for Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I think it was a good race in the end. We kind of stalled out there towards the end. Maybe hards would have been a better call, but I think with the limited grip anyway, they would have just been slower and we would have potentially just fallen into the clutches of Hamilton and Leclerc and Hülkenberg behind. But yeah, it was a decent race, and I think I've got no real complaints about it.
After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Yes, thank you, Crofty. Obviously, Verstappen first, then Piastri, Norris, Tsunoda, Russell, Voisin, which is ourselves, Hamilton, Leclerc, Antonelli, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Alonso, Albon, Gasly, Hauger, Behrman, Bortoletto, Stroll, Ocon, Hadjar, Lawson, and then Doohan to round off the grid. In the driver standings, Verstappen's kind of catching up to the McLaren duo up at the top. We're still in P4 in the constructors, but that is a big gap. And yeah, we're just going to slowly fall through the field unless our teammate can kind of help and do anything about it. But that's it for this week. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you're new around here, think about subscribing. And yeah, I'll just leave you guys with these highlights. And let me know in the comments, do you think I should need to change my teammate, or do you think we stick with Hauger for the rest of the season? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you very soon for another video.